Welcome to Advanedge Consulting AI, where we explore the responsible implementation of artificial intelligence in financial services. Today we're tackling one of the most crucial aspects of AI adoption in finance: ethics. As AI systems become increasingly prevalent in financial decision-making, from loan approvals to investment recommendations, the importance of ensuring these systems operate fairly, transparently, and in compliance with regulatory standards cannot be overstated. The financial sector's adoption of AI brings tremendous opportunities, but it also raises fundamental questions about fairness, accountability, and the potential for unintended consequences that could affect millions of people's financial lives. The imperative for ethical AI in financial services touch virtually every aspect of our economic lives, making the ethical implementation of AI in this sector particularly critical. Unlike other industries where AI errors might cause inconvenience, mistakes in financial AI can have profound consequences. Denying someone a mortgage, incorrectly flagging legitimate transactions as fraudulent, or providing biased investment advice that affects long-term wealth building. The scale at which financial institutions operate means that even small biases or errors can be amplified across millions of customers, potentially perpetuating or exacerbating existing inequalities. This reality makes ethical considerations not just a moral imperative, but a business necessity for maintaining customer trust and regulatory compliance. Understanding bias in financial AI systems. Bias in AI systems can manifest in multiple ways, each presenting unique challenges for financial institutions. Historical bias occurs when AI models are trained on data that reflects past discriminatory practices. For example, if historical lending data shows that certain demographic groups were systematically denied loans, an AI system trained on this data might perpetuate these patterns, even if the original discriminatory factors are not explicitly included in the model. Representation bias emerges when training data doesn't adequately represent all segments of the population that the AI system will serve. This is particularly problematic in financial services, where certain communities may be underrepresented in traditional financial data due to historical exclusion from mainstream banking services. When AI models are trained primarily on data from well-banked populations, they may perform poorly for underbanked or unbanked individuals. Measurement bias occurs when the data used to train AI systems contains systematic errors or inconsistencies in how different groups are measured or evaluated. This can happen when data collection methods vary across different regions, demographics, or time periods, leading to skewed results that unfairly advantage or disadvantage certain groups. Algorithmic bias can be introduced through the design choices made by developers, including feature selection, model architecture, and optimization objectives. Even with unbiased data, poor algorithmic design can lead to discriminatory outcomes. For instance, optimizing solely for profitability might lead to models that systematically exclude lower-income customers who might be profitable in the long term, but appear risky in the short term. The impact of these biases extends beyond individual customers to broader societal implications. Biased AI systems can reinforce existing economic inequalities, limit access to financial services for vulnerable populations, and undermine efforts to promote financial inclusion. The challenge of transparency and explainability. Transparency in AI decision-making is crucial for building trust and ensuring accountability, but it presents significant technical and practical challenges. Black box algorithms, particularly deep learning models, can make highly accurate predictions while providing little insight into how those decisions are reached. This opacity is problematic in financial services, where customers have a right to understand why they were denied credit or why their investment portfolio was rebalanced in a particular way. Explainable AI, XAI techniques are being developed to address this challenge, but they often involve trade-offs between accuracy and interpretability. Simpler, more interpretable models may be easier to explain, but might not capture the complex patterns that make AI valuable in the first place. Conversely, highly accurate models may be too complex for meaningful explanation. The challenge is compounded by the need to provide explanations at different levels of detail for different audiences. Customers may need simple, intuitive explanations for AI-driven decisions affecting them, while regulators might require detailed technical documentation of model behavior. Financial institutions must develop systems that can provide appropriate explanations for each context while maintaining the underlying model's effectiveness. Model interpretability goes beyond simple explanations to encompass understanding how different inputs affect model outputs, identifying which features are most important for specific decisions, and detecting when models might be making decisions based on inappropriate factors. This deeper understanding is essential for identifying and correcting biased behavior in AI systems. Regulatory landscape and compliance challenges. The regulatory environment for AI in finance is rapidly evolving, with different jurisdictions taking varying approaches to oversight and compliance. Fair lending laws, such as the Equal Credit Opportunity Act in the United States and similar regulations in other countries, require financial institutions to ensure that their lending practices don't discriminate against protected classes. These laws apply to AI-driven lending decisions, but determining compliance can be complex when dealing with sophisticated machine learning models. The European Union's AI Act represents one of the most comprehensive attempts to regulate AI systems, with specific provisions for high-risk applications including financial services. The Act requires extensive documentation, risk assessment, and ongoing monitoring of AI systems, placing significant compliance burdens on financial institutions operating in the EU. Model governance frameworks are being developed by regulators to provide guidance on how financial institutions should oversee their AI systems. These frameworks typically require institutions to maintain detailed documentation of model development, validation, and monitoring processes, as well as to demonstrate ongoing oversight of model performance and fairness. The challenge for financial institutions is that regulatory requirements are often still being defined, creating uncertainty about what constitutes adequate compliance. Institutions must balance the need to innovate with AI technology against the risk of regulatory penalties for non-compliance with evolving standards. Stress testing and validation requirements are being extended to AI systems, requiring institutions to demonstrate that their models perform fairly across different scenarios and population segments. This includes testing for adverse impact on protected classes and ensuring that models remain stable and fair under various market conditions. Best practices for ethical AI implementation. Implementing ethical AI in finance requires a comprehensive approach that addresses technical, organizational, and cultural factors. Diverse and representative data is fundamental to building fair AI systems. Financial institutions must actively work to ensure their training data includes adequate representation of all customer segments they serve, which may require supplementing traditional financial data with alternative data sources or synthetic data generation techniques. Bias testing and monitoring should be integrated throughout the AI development lifecycle, not just as a final check before deployment. This includes testing for disparate impact across different demographic groups, monitoring model performance over time to detect drift or degradation in fairness, and implementing automated alerts when bias metrics exceed acceptable thresholds. Human oversight and intervention mechanisms are essential for maintaining accountability in AI-driven decisions. This includes establishing clear escalation procedures for contested decisions, maintaining human review processes for high-stakes decisions, and ensuring that customers have meaningful recourse when they believe they've been treated unfairly by an AI system. Stakeholder engagement throughout the AI development process helps ensure that diverse perspectives are considered and that potential ethical issues are identified early. This includes involving customer advocacy groups, community representatives, and ethics experts in the design and validation of AI systems. Continuous monitoring and improvement processes are necessary because bias and fairness issues can emerge over time as models interact with changing data and market conditions. Regular audits, fairness assessments, and model updates are essential for maintaining ethical AI systems. The business case for ethical AI, beyond moral and regulatory imperatives, there are compelling business reasons for prioritizing ethical AI in finance. Customer trust and loyalty are fundamental to financial services success, and customers are increasingly aware of and concerned about AI bias and fairness. Institutions that demonstrate commitment to ethical AI practices can differentiate themselves in competitive markets and build stronger customer relationships. Risk mitigation is another crucial business benefit. Biased or unfair AI systems expose institutions to regulatory penalties, legal challenges, and reputational damage that can be far more costly than the investment required to implement ethical AI practices. Proactive attention to AI ethics helps institutions avoid these risks while building more robust and reliable systems. Market expansion opportunities emerge when AI systems are designed to be fair and inclusive. By avoiding bias that might exclude certain customer segments, institutions can tap into underserved markets and expand their customer base. Ethical AI can thus be a driver of business growth rather than just a compliance requirement. Innovation and competitive advantage can result from the rigorous development processes required for ethical AI. The attention to data quality, model validation, and performance monitoring that ethical AI requires often leads to better performing systems overall, providing competitive advantages beyond just fairness considerations. Ethical AI in finance is not just about avoiding harm. It's about building systems that actively promote fairness, transparency, and accountability while delivering superior financial services. As the regulatory landscape continues to evolve and customer expectations for ethical business practices grow, financial institutions that prioritize ethical AI implementation will be better positioned for long-term success. At Advanedge Consulting AI, we believe that ethical considerations should be at the center of AI strategy, not an afterthought. The future of finance depends on our ability to harness AI's power responsibly, ensuring that these transformative technologies serve all members of society fairly and equitably. Thank you for joining us today, and remember to subscribe for more insights into the responsible future of AI in finance.